Hey guys, B5 Declaration brush and a vintage Rubberset 400 handle. Really like this knot, so it's one of my favorite brushes. One of my favorite razors, the Karve Christopher Bradley. I know that I said that I wasn't really going to use it again, but I bumped down the base plate as I'm working with my feather, and this is going to be the 60th use of this one blade. And I bumped it down to a B. I had tried the C, and that didn't work out very well with this blade. And then open comb. And then I tried the open comb D, because I thought maybe a little bit more aggression. Sometimes that helps an older blade. Nah, did not work. Wasn't good. So let's bump backwards instead of going more aggressive and see the B open comb for fun. And this guy has a bunch of uses. Like I said, let me show you the dots. This is the 60th use of this blade. And then the sample, new soap that I just got in from Maggard Razors, Sunny Lane, from Barrister and Mann. And it's their Excelsior base, and it is a tribute scent they did, similar to the one they did called Behold the Whatsis, is a tribute to an honorarium, a salute to Dr. Seuss. And this one is a salute to all those great kids shows like Captain Kangaroo, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, Sesame Street, you know, those sorts of things. And many of the people in my generation know exactly what those shows are. Well, here's the little signature there on the marathon blade. We'll put it in, and then we'll show you that it's the B open comb. And this is the 3.5 inch handle. I'd love to try the 3 1/4 sometime. But when I bought this, I was one of the earlier people who did. They didn't make the 3 1/4 at that point. But I really like the balance of this one, so it's possible that the 3 1/4 might not be my favorite. We're going to have to show you how to load from a sample. Now, if you're a frequent watcher of my channel, you're going to know that because I definitely use plenty of samples. I've got a 1/4 teaspoon measure, and for many soaps, that is a great amount to start out with. There are some soaps that's twice as much soap as you need, but there are very few soaps where you need a little bit more than a 1/4 teaspoon. And this is the Excelsior base. Now, it kind of smells a little strange right off the dry tub here. Not all that appealing. It's got pepperiness. Green is definitely green, and I do smell a little bit of the pepper. It's got bergamot, vetiver, clover, sweet clover, and oakmoss. Now, something is taking the greenness and the slight pepperiness and adding some kind of heaviness to it. And maybe it's the vetiver and the clover, perhaps. I don't think it would be the bergamot, but maybe the pepper is coming into play a little bit. I'm not really sure, but it's almost kind of thick, and it does maybe make me think of being outside, but it doesn't really make me think of anything relating to kids. And so it seems like it's some really good ingredients that just don't happen to work well together, at least in this ratio. Now that's just how it smells to me, my opinion, to my nose, from the dry tub. As we know, that can differ greatly once we get it in lather form. So what I do is, if you have a sample and you are the kind of person who likes to use up the whole sample, then one of the things that you can do is just take that sample, press it into any type of container that you can load your brush from. Just press the whole thing down in, and then you're basically loading it like you would a partially used soap tub. So that's kind of normal. Now what I like to do is put in enough for kind of just one shave. And so that is why I measure out the 1/4 teaspoon, because I tend to like to space out my use of the samples. I might want to try it again sometime. So I've got this big old tub of samples that I like. I don't know if I'll ever get around to using them. I'm not really sure. They're handy during the lather games when you need to vary your selection, quite a bit. And when, if you don't have a certain tub of soap, then a sample might come in and save you. That may be the only reason I'm keeping all those samples. Who knows? So that 1/4 teaspoon is now spread around inside this bowl. This is the Roger Quintero Lather bowl. It is a 3D printed bowl, and you can find a link in the video description to download those files if you want to print it yourself. I just got out of the shower and I did wash my face with some glycerin soap, which is a great way to prep. I don't always do that, but this time I did. I'm just going to make sure my face is nice and wet. And then I'm going to take a badger brush, shake out most of the water, and this will make a wonderful lather. This soap base, the Excelsior base, is the newest one from Barrister and Mann. And they do a really good job. Will is the main guy there, and this formulation is really solid. It's going to give a great shave, I know that much. Just kind of mix it around for a little bit, then start adding water. Forgot to look and see what was the last measurement I used to kind of help maybe shortcut me to the end of the game, Oh well. I never tried the Behold the What's. There's been some other kid soaps out there. I think Berry Good Noah. There was something called Fruit Loops or Saturday Morning or something like that. That was very kid related. I was smelling the dry tub and something took me back to walking through a department store when I was young, the perfume counter. Now it's it's a green scent that I'm getting here, and it's not any kind of lady perfume. But maybe I did smell some type of green, vetiver, green type perfume that maybe with some oakmoss in it. Could I assign a gender to this? We've got 2 teaspoons of water in. Now we've got 3. Some people object to the whole scents don't have a gender, and they don't. However, I think certain scents do lend themselves more toward a certain gender than other scents. And I don't think this is a feminine, scent. It could be masculine. I immediately, it's not jumping to my nose as something I really enjoy as my first impression. Now, there are some scents that kind of, you have to get used to them. Barrister and Mann Bay Rum. When I first started with Barrister and Mann, it was their white label Bay Rum. Didn't like it at first. Visited it maybe, 1 or 2 months later, and I really perceived some of the different notes. Maybe my nose got a little bit of an education during that time, and I really enjoyed it. So don't judge a soap by the smell generally. I mean, if it's kind of halfway, obviously sometimes you're going to be able to pick up on something you don't like, right? So we've got 3 teaspoons in it. Let's just feel Oh, that's nice and slick. Excelsior. It's a terrific base. It's got kind of a, almost like a gel-like slickness, kind of silky. Very nice. A little bit of cushion. It's not, and there's some density there. It's not super light. Let's go ahead and add another half teaspoon. So 3.5 teaspoons are in this water in this lather. Yeah, this doesn't immediately strike me as one that I would enjoy. But the green scents are definitely out there. There's several different types of green scents that are out there, and so if you are a person who likes that category a lot, then this could be a variation that you find enjoyable. Some of the green scents I definitely do enjoy. And I pick up a lot of the pieces. I believe I pick up the vetiver and the clover, the sweetness of the clover, the slight orange of the bergamot, a slight kind of woody bitter orange, the greenery and the pepper. I don't really pick up the oakmoss, at least that I can identify. And let's take a look at how the lather is working now. That's often a very good sign, the way it collapses like that. I'm going to go ahead and add the last half teaspoon. So we've got 4 teaspoons in this lather. Looks like it's going to be plenty of lather to do the job. This does, even though I have a good collection of Barrister and Mann soaps, so many I enjoy. Hallows, their bay rum. The diamond is one of my all-time favorites. It's very niche-y, baseball type scent. Some of the components of a baseball game. Cologne Rousse, Baudelaire, Leviathan. And I'm not even scratching the surface. I think there's 6 more that I just really enjoy. All right, let's kind of show you the viscosity and the elasticity here. It's possible. I bet it could take more water, but I'm just going to go ahead and go with it. Water my face once more. All right. This is a dense badger brush, and I mounted it fairly high, not as high as it would go, because I did try that on another handle, and it made it too floppy. And so I did have to kind of play around. I used O-rings at the base of the knot to play around and figure out where maybe my preferred height would be. All right, get a little bit more on my brush. I'm just going to work this in. And I may discover as I work it in that it needs a little bit of water. It kind of does feel like it. So I'll refill my syringe here. And I just used this syringe to be able to easily add water. That's all. And it also helps me to be able to tell you how much water I used in case somebody's having trouble with their lathers and wants to try to, ballpark, get close to, what I'm using. And maybe that'll help them if they're really not able to hit that lather mark that they might want. Yeah, the clover. I could see how maybe a clover scent might be a good idea for a, kids playing outside, But I guess maybe the vetiver and the pepper just kind of don't really kind of fit in that same vein, at least with me. It's got some substance to it, and so I think, like I saw today, somebody's selling their new tub, their new set, because they were not tactful in saying that they didn't like the scent. And I could see why, because it's got some heft to it. And so I could see how it's not some easygoing, low-flying, conservative, just kind of a cologne scent. It definitely has some, not a punchy power to it, but just a little bit more heaviness than you might often see. And so I can see how somebody might have that reaction. All right, let's see how. Oh, yeah. See, the B open comb is doing much better with the feather than the C or the D. So, in marathoning blades, I have found that I have to move up the aggression level sometimes, but it looks like I did it too quickly, at least with this blade. And it really could vary per blade. So 60 is the count after this shave. Now I am experiencing a little bit of tugging, but it's not really a big deal. And I guarantee you, based on everything else that I know, the rest of the shave is going to be a wonderful piece of cake, slick, awesome shave. I put another teaspoon of water in the lather because I thought maybe it could use it, since I had to add some water to my brush on that first pass. So now I'm just going to integrate that and make sure I have a good consistent mix. So Will, maker of Barrister and Mann, he's got some interesting visions for scents, and I'm so happy that he branches out and tries all kinds of new things. He's had some flops, and then he's had some huge mega wins. I bet next to Sterling, Barrister and Mann might be my next most popular soap in my inventory. Just so many that I like from them. All right. There is something in this. Maybe it's the vetiver and pepper that is kind of putting me off too. It's not super strong, but every once in a while you'll get a juicy, thick whiff. Yeah, I'm glad I added that water. It needed it. Nice, slick soap. All right. Yeah, I have plenty in the tub there. Looks like I probably have 3 extra passes. So that quarter teaspoon, it's nice to see, because the Glissant Barrister and Mann, or maybe the Reserve, which one was it? It needed the full quarter teaspoon, whereas this guy looks like he might be a little bit better of a, in terms of economy, in terms of soap economy. Now we'll go cross grain. And here's this 60 use feather. And he is comfortable. I do feel just a little bit of blade feel. And he is cleaning up the extra stubble left over by that first pass very comfortably. I have a good bit of glide. Not tons, but plenty. And this is a soap where we'll purposefully added some moisturizers and things like that to help with post-shave feel. Especially if you have dry skin, should really help you out. Combine that with a moisturizer afterwards, and hopefully that'll be good for you. All right. The reason I added some more water to this pass was because as I was rinsing that first pass, I felt the water kind of activate more soap on my face. And then it took a second to kind of experience that and then rinse it away. So if that happens, then I know that it can take more water and I'll get a slicker shave because of it. And it worked out great. All right. Yeah, I'm a big fan of those old, 70s TV shows. And so I had some hopes that having this soap in my den would be nice. But I don't think that I like it. Or it's just not for me. Now this, I could see this possibly being an acquired taste with somebody. And it might garner a certain group of people that just embrace it, because it definitely walks with, if I can use a metaphor, it walks with heavy feet in the realm, in the green vetiver realm. And so if this happens to be a combination that is one of your, favorites, then man, you're not going to have too many other razors that fit that. And this is working really well, very comfortable. Likewise, you want to test your soap consistency. You get your fingers wet after the pass and rub your fingers around on your face. Does it seem to just really activate even more lather? Or does it just have a light slickness to it? If it's just kind of that light slickness that it kind of starts to wash away pretty easy, then you're probably right at that perfect point of hydration, at least the way I like my lathers. And if you want a wet, slick lather, that's kind of what you might want to head for. All right, full rinse now. So yeah, I think this is a niche scent. If it finds a fan base out there, then they are going to be wonderfully loyal to this guy. I don't really associate it with a kids type thing. But I mean, I don't think it's too much of a stretch, to do that. Maybe the pepper wasn't a great choice for something kind of related to the kids. But anyway, who knows? I could all of a sudden have a craving to come back to this and try it out again someday, but I don't think so. But a neat artwork, and I'm glad that Will is adventuring in these kind of cool directions. Maybe I should have gotten a sample of the Behold the What's This just for grins, but I never did. All right, well, the lather's terrific. I believe that it's right there where it needs to be. Look at that. Look at that. That right there. That is it, folks. In terms of how I like my Excelsior. Look at the drooping, and it's going down. It's actually moving. I'm not shaking it or anything like that. See the shape changing? It's dripping down my brush. And so that's the kind of hydration level. And look, there's no hills or valleys or ridges or anything like that. This one happens to have a nice sheen to it. Not all soaps develop that at the right consistency, but this one sure does. And so that is where That is where I put it. You know what I bet I'm thinking of? There may have been a scent, maybe like polo green or something like that. There may have been a scent in my childhood walking by the counter that had some of these components, and then they layered some florals on top, because I usually didn't spend a lot of time around the guys. I would just pass by. The girls' fragrance counter is just so huge. I was always going past it to get to the tool department or the toys when I was a little kid, or whatever. And so there may have been this plus some florals it's what's tripping me, you know. Wait, you know what? Estee Lauder. I think my grandma had a puffy thing of Estee Lauder, or I think that one. And I think it's got it's similar in a few components to this. I think that's the scent. I think that's the scent that is causing some memory, little memory jogs to me, in that way the scent does. All right, well, we used 5.5 teaspoons of water, and I believe it could probably take just a little bit more because I had to add it in the beginning, you know, and so for that reason. But in the end, I think I hit a great consistency level here. Happy with the viscosity and all those words. So the B, wow, the B open comb, kind of comparable to the C closed comb or solid bar, was a success tonight. Just a little tuggy on that first pass, but my face has long forgotten about that. Comfy shave. Let us throw on, find some post shave to go with this. I don't feel any irritation or anything like that. You know what, just for grins, I've got this Stubble Buster Game. Tangerine, sequoia, and sage is kind of the top notes there, or the main notes in the different levels. And this has a little bit of menthol, so I'm going to get a bit of a burning sensation, as that is kind of a cooling agent. But let's just see how that scent. All the Stubble Buster soaps were really hard for me to detect much of the scent in the soaps. It's not so at all with the post-shave splash here. It's got a nice scent, and you do get a chance to smell it and enjoy it before that menthol kick happens. All right, well, I'm going to clean stuff up, and like I said, there's probably 3 more passes in there, so 6 full passes from that 1/4 teaspoon of soap. Pretty good. I think the Game from Stubble Buster post shave worked pretty well. I think the greenery, it's probably got some similar ingredients there. I think it's a nice transition. Definitely not a match, but I think it's a really nice story transition there. Well, as the cleanup's pretty much done and the menthol burn on my face is gradually settling down, it doesn't look like Sunny Lane is for me. But if you like pepper and vetiver, then I think this is a must try for you. I was really happy with the way the B open comb worked with the feather. I might try the B solid bar. Hit that again. It's really all about geometry, and who knows which kind of geometry, which razor will help an aging blade to kind of go the distance. We'll see if we can get to a feather to 100. It's been done before by other shavers, and so hopefully I can do it as well. We'll just see. But yeah, really happy about that. The Game, that was a good guess. I'm enjoying that scent. It almost like it's it's taken the pieces of the Sunny Lane and stitched them up with some things that work well with each other, and so now it's a happy experience. It's a enjoyable scent, to me at least. So there we go. I think we are in good shape. I don't think there's anything else to cover. That was also how to lather with a sample. I put one way to put the lather together with a sample. And the B5 did great. It was a little laggy, a little draggy with this particular lather. I wonder if a bore might have be a little faster with this, because there's so many tips with a dense brush like the B5. There's so many tips that I can see how that might increase the drag just a bit. And I've just been so used to these bores. I've been doing a lot with them lately, watching them grow and get and break in. It's been enjoyable, and so maybe I'm just not quite used to the badgers. All right, there we go. This is Sugar Daddy Shaves. I hope there's been something in this video that has helped you out. That's a new scent that we'll release, and that's just my take on it. You take care. Good night.